July 1917, Western Front, Belgium. What was once peaceful farmland had become a shattered wasteland. Trees stood broken like matchsticks. The ground was torn open by millions of shells. The sky was dark, heavy with rain, and the air smelled of mud, smoke, and death. British commanders believed victory was close. They were wrong. The battle was called Passchendaele, officially known as the Third Battle of Ypres. It would become one of the most terrifying battles of World War I, not because of enemy fire alone, but because the battlefield itself turned into a weapon. For months before the attack, British artillery had bombarded German positions. Over 4 million shells were fired. The plan was simple: destroy German defenses and advance behind a creeping artillery barrage. But the shelling had destroyed something else: the drainage system. Belgium's low-lying land relied on canals and ditches to survive heavy rain. When those were smashed, water had nowhere to go. And then the rain came day after day, week after week. The battlefield turned into a vast swamp. On July 31st, 1917, British and Allied soldiers climbed out of their trenches and moved forward. Almost immediately, men began sinking. Each step became a struggle. Boots were pulled off by the sucking mud, horses collapsed and disappeared beneath the surface. Heavy artillery pieces had to be abandoned. Some soldiers never made it to the enemy. They drowned. Eyewitnesses described men slipping into flooded shell craters, weighed down by equipment. Rifles, packs, and ammunition dragged them under. Their comrades could only watch helplessly. Trying to rescue someone often meant sinking in yourself. German machine guns waited. From concrete pillboxes hidden in the mud, German gunners opened fire. The slow-moving soldiers were easy targets. Entire units were cut down before reaching the enemy lines. The wounded suffered the worst fate. Men shot in the legs or stomach fell into the mud and could not move. Stretchers were useless. Medics struggled through waist-deep sludge under shellfire. Many wounded soldiers drowned slowly, unable to scream as mud filled their mouths, and still, the attacks continued. British High Command believed success was just one push away. Each small gain of ground was celebrated, no matter the cost. Orders came to attack again and again. August arrived with no relief. Rain fell almost constantly. Trenches collapsed. Soldiers slept standing up to avoid drowning in their own positions. Food arrived cold and soaked. Rats fed on the dead. Lice spread disease. Exhaustion pushed men to the edge of madness. German artillery fired blindly into the mud, knowing it didn't matter where shells landed. Everything was a target. Gas shells joined the bombardment. Poison gas clung low to the ground, trapped by the wet terrain. Men scrambled for gas masks while sinking deeper with every movement. Those who failed to seal their masks in time suffocated slowly. Despite the horror, acts of courage happened every day. Men dragged wounded comrades through mud under fire. Officers led from the front, knowing survival was unlikely. Messages were carried by runners who vanished into the rain, never to be seen again. In October, Canadian forces were brought in. Even they were shocked by what they found. Veterans of earlier battles called Passchendaele the worst conditions they had ever seen. The objective was a small village on a ridge. Passchendaele, just a name on a map. By November, after months of fighting, the village was finally captured. It was nothing but ruins and mud. The ridge offered little strategic value. Winter was approaching. The offensive was stopped. The cost was staggering. Over 500,000 casualties killed, wounded, or missing on both sides. For a few miles of ground that would soon be abandoned, many bodies were never recovered. Soldiers remained buried where they fell, preserved in the mud. Even today, remains are still discovered when fields are plowed. Passchendaele became a symbol not of glory, not of victory, but of the brutality and futility of industrial war. It showed how human planning meant nothing against nature, machine guns, and artillery. How courage could not overcome mud. How entire generations were consumed by decisions made far from the front lines. Veterans who survived rarely spoke of it. Some said Passchendaele was worse than death because at least death was quick. The battle left scars not only on the land, but on the minds of those who endured it. It changed how wars were fought and remembered. Today, quiet fields cover the battlefield, grass grows where men once drowned. But beneath the surface, the mud still holds its secrets. Passchendaele reminds us of a simple truth. In war, sometimes the enemy isn't the man in front of you, it's the ground beneath your feet.